How's it feel to be out of custody?
A breath of fresh air. It's really, really nice. After being wrongfully confined for almost 800 days, it feels very liberating, but also very overwhelming. Um, there's a lot that I'm grateful for, have compassion for now that I think um, this unique experience gives me the ability to have. So it's a it's colorful. The world is colorful now.
So you're on base, you're still in the service. How's that going?
Yes. So far, since I was released on the 18th, it's been okay. I've been very fortunate to have people who have been helpful here. The people on the base here have been extremely kind and helpful and willing to help me through the situation the best they can. So I think that as far as the support I'm getting and the immediate people that I've been talking to, I'm very grateful for having them.
So you spent more than 2 years in custody, waiting for your appeal, right?
Yes, sir. And this whole process has been going on for 3 years. So it's been it's been very, very difficult. It's been the most difficult thing in my entire life. So it's been a hard few years for sure.
Do you still have this potential to be recharged hanging over your head? And, just talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So as of March 5th, the court came out with the finding that the charges were dismissed, that I was in the brig for. And so they authorized a retrial. So that doesn't necessarily mean that I will be retried, but the option is there for the Coast Guard to do that. It's very difficult because it's been years that I've already lost from my daughter's passing, and um, that was the worst day and worst event of my entire life, and dealing with the aftermath of this and an organization coming after me and um, putting me through quite a bit of suffering has been just life stopping. So it's almost like my life has just been on pause for years, and the continuance of the potential to go back to a trial after this, and after I've already had to go through so much and persevere through so much, it's very difficult to have that still in the mix as a potential option for them.
Do you have any indication from the Coast Guard, from the investigative service, whether they are planning on refiling charges?
No, sir, I haven't heard anything at all. So I haven't been notified of what the status is for anything. So as far as I know, myself and my legal team haven't received any notifications. So as of right now, I'm just active duty again, and they're transferring me to Virginia.
What do you actually do?
I'm a yeoman, so I do pay and personnel and just things like contracts. Um, Most likely when I go to Virginia, I think I'll be working in the housing office. So I'll be doing most likely people checking in and out of base and dealing with household goods and things like that.
The death of your little girl, just was bad enough. And then I assume it played a role in your marriage splitting up and you being confined for 2 years. Is just so traumatic.
Yes, sir. I lost everything. The biggest loss was my child, which was it felt and it still feels very unprocessable. I don't think that there's ever going to be anything in my life that I ever go through that's worse than going through that. Everything after that was just added flame to the fire. It's like that was just the worst experience of my life, and I've never been able to process it because I was basically just targeted and singled out and pursued for so long that I didn't even have time to grieve. I didn't have time to process anything, which at first, I remember feeling just very sad and just I didn't know how I was going to get through anything, let alone my child's death. And to add on all the extra things that come along with this type of thing, with a wrongful conviction, you lose not only, in my case, my daughter, my only child. I lost my marriage. It broke apart my marriage. It broke apart many friends and acquaintances. My reputation in the Coast Guard is ruined. I'll never be able to catch up and advance in the military. I mean, my career is ruined. All my finances are shredded. My family doesn't disown me. I mean, it's such a snowballing effect that it's like my whole life literally got turned upside down, and now I don't have the same opportunities and the same lack of prejudice that anybody else would have. So it's really tough.
The report that we aired earlier kind of focused on the interrogation and, you know, them kind of promising you things in the interrogation, and just what's your reaction to how you were treated through this whole process by the investigative service and, you know, the system?
I still have nightmares from that experience. I still have a lot of PTSD and trauma from dealing with my mind being flipped upside down. I really trusted the Coast Guard, and I trusted even the CJIS agents because they're in the Coast Guard. You know, it's a weird thing when you're in the service and the service comes after you, but they're your livelihood. It's not like a separate entity like the civilian world would be. So it's a very mixed boundary line kind of to perceive. So I trusted these people from day one, and they really just destroyed my life. I mean, I still have trauma just from how much my mind was flipped upside down from that interrogation. Like to people watching that interrogation, you don't really get to see like how much time they groomed me beforehand, how many hours and hours of other interviews and lunches they bought me, and time they sat listening to me crying. And I mean, it's the preparatory time for that was extensive for months. And after that, I mean, I was immediately thrown into a mental health facility, detached from my husband, with no access to anybody or anything. And I got FedEx divorce papers. Like I literally got thrown to the wolves, and then everybody in my life turned on me, and I had no way to protect myself because I wasn't even accessible to the real world. So you can't really tell how much trauma that caused me, but I absolutely hate listening to my voice on it. I hate listening to anything to do with it because it makes my heart race. I mean, you can see my reaction even talking about it. That's literally just from remembering the interrogation. It's so traumatic. It's it's really horrible.
The questioning and the length of the interrogation, they seem to be, trying to get you to admit that you did something criminal that resulted in your baby's death. Scarlett, right, was her name. And do you still blame yourself for doing something, or are you trying to get past that, or how do you deal with that?
I think it's really difficult because I know I did nothing to hurt my child. I know that for a fact. That's the truth. And to be a mother who lost their child, like what I haven't been able to get over, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get over the fact that I just couldn't save her. Like I wasn't there to be able to save her. There was no way for me to know anything that was going on. And it just like this weekend, I sat on like by the ocean watching the sunset, crying and crying and crying and crying because I couldn't save her. Like that still sticks in my head that it's like I've always had given people the benefit of the doubt. I've always devoted my life to helping save people or help people. And the one person I couldn't save was my own daughter. And it's there's nothing I can do now to save her, and I couldn't save her then. That's really hard to live with because I would have done anything for her. And the one time she really needed me, I wasn't there to help her. And I don't know how I'm ever going to really get through that part of it. So it's not necessarily me like blaming myself for anything criminal because I know I didn't do anything criminal. It's just the simple fact that it's a tragedy and I wasn't able to save my own child. And like, she was my life and my everything. So I carry her with me, but I just wish I could have done more.
Do you think she died of SIDS?
Yeah, I really do. That's what I believe this entire time. Um, that's what the ER report said the night that she passed away, and all the ER physicians. It said, diagnosis SIDS. This was a natural death. Um, I I can't explain it any other way because there was nothing obstructing her mouth. There was nothing when I found her. It literally looked like she was the exact same, but her face was down instead of to the side. And there was no, she looked just, I can't even, I just thought she wasn't breathing, like there wasn't air. And it's really hard to understand that because SIDS doesn't, there's no real explanation. There can be risk factors, there can be things that people learn about, but how many millions of moms lay their children down on their stomach, or how many millions of moms will put a blanket on their child to keep them warm? Like, I just don't, I don't understand SIDS. I've never been able to understand it. And it's just, that's a really hard diagnosis to live with because I can't find the answers. I search for them and try to learn about the research, but it's so inconclusive that it's a really hard thing to process.
What do you want to say to other moms who are dealing with because you had postpartum depression, did you not? And
Yes, I
and
did.
for people to understand what that is, or what's the message to other moms who go through that?
Yes, sir. So I really think that I feel sad that postpartum depression was looped so much into this case because I didn't kill her. I didn't hurt my daughter at all. And just because I had postpartum depression doesn't mean that I was a murderer. I was a killer. It So many moms experience postpartum depression, and I feel like the way that the military treated myself and my daughter's death was doing a huge disservice to women because it's just another reason why not to come forward and say like, hey, I feel like I have postpartum depression. I may need to get treated for this. It's like it's a stigmatized thing. It's an embarrassing thing. So I don't think that this case does any justice to women in the country. But what I will say is I ended up getting treated months before she passed away and I was getting a lot better. So um, for me, it was at the beginning, after she was born for the first few months, that I was struggling with just feeling detached and sad, and I couldn't really process my emotions very well. But I did seek out treatment when I was on leave, and I went to multiple outpatient clinics like, hey, I'm on leave. I don't have access to my physician, but I really think I have postpartum. Can you help me? I ended up getting medication for that. And it helped me a lot. It really regulated my hormones. Um, so dealing with postpartum depression shouldn't be embarrassing. There's millions of moms that deal with this. And I don't think it should be as stigmatized as it is, because if people would just get help for it, you can get better. It's not something that's, like you get it and then you never get treated for it. If you proactively seek out help, therapy, medication, these things can get better, which they did for me. So I would encourage people not to um, just live with it in yourself and really reach out and ask for resources, because you want that time with your child. Like the first few months that I had with Scarlett, I'm never going to get that time back that I was feeling postpartum depression. And the last couple months of her life, like I was so much better and I was so happy to be around her. And it's like, I wish I could go back and be able to have medication from the very beginning, like rather than wait 2 months before I ended up getting medication for it or getting treated for it, because I want that time with her. And I feel like postpartum really robs you of time. And that's difficult.
Well, do you feel because you admitted that you had postpartum depression, that played a role in them deciding to charge you criminally, that they used that against you?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I think that it's very telling that I'm the mom who had postpartum depression and I was criminally charged, but my husband, who was drinking tequila, watching our child by himself, when I was gone, he was never charged. He's considered a crime victim. And when I was there with my friend McKenna, we both heard my daughter talking and cooing and whatnot. And I was never alone with her again. And then he was. So when I left, I had the assumption and the understanding that she was alive. And when I came back, she wasn't. But he hasn't been charged with anything. Um, I've been thrown to the wolves and he has not. And I think that is very, very significant of the fact that I'm a woman and I had postpartum depression.
Okay. Well, I'm here in San Diego where the brig is located. Can you tell me what it's like in that facility?
Yeah. I think, I mean, overall, it's very difficult because I was wrongfully convicted. And so there are people, I absolutely, after experiencing this and talking to different people, I absolutely believe there are innocent people in prison. And so to be an innocent person to go through the process is difficult because you're treated like you're a murderer. Like there's no, hey, I didn't do this. I shouldn't be here. It's like, no, you were convicted, so you must have done something. Like it's you don't have, you know, you can't fight for yourself in there. You're a felon, you don't have a choice. That's how you're looked at. And so some people are very human, very kind, very caring people who genuinely care about people in prison or not in prison, and just being very down to earth. But there are other people that um, I think the position of power gets to their head, and it's sometimes you don't get treated well at all. So it's kind of hit or miss depending on the person and the personality as far as like guards go or people who watch over the prisoners. But I will tell you, it's very difficult. I mean, the first night I got there, I was on the floor in a holding cell, cement with nothing around me, on the ground in a fetal position, bawling, saying, "I didn't do this. I shouldn't be here." I was crying for hours. I did not get up. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything for the whole month and a half. When I first got there, I was in solitary. So it's like those experiences are very traumatizing and difficult. Getting frisked so much throughout the day, getting strip searched every time you go off base. Um, I have severe scoliosis in my spine and I could barely get any care. I had no mental health care for trauma whatsoever. Um, it's a difficult spot to be in because you're a prisoner. So it's the way you're looked at is very different, as if like sometimes, people who are in prison don't deserve as much care as somebody in the regular world. So it's a hard thing.
What do you mean when you go off base? They let you go off base, or you had to go off base on occasion, and then you got strip searched?
So every time that I would have a medical appointment, I ended up stopping medical appointments because I couldn't deal with the emotional trauma of it. So I ended up not getting care for a long time. Um, I every time I would have to go off base for a medical appointment to like Balboa, the hospital, a little ways away from the base, they would put a thick giant belt around your waist, put you in handcuffs, and two people, one on either side, would hold like a handle on your belt and pull you around and parade you through the hospital of a bunch of military people in uniform. So anytime I went, it was like so much exposure that I was just so embarrassed by, and I felt belittled and like stared at, and it was so traumatizing to have to do that every single time. I was like, I literally emotionally cannot do this. I'd rather. It's so sad that I would have to choose between medical care and being humiliated every time I would leave. And every time you get back from a medical appointment or a visitation, you have to be strip searched. So you have to like remove all of your clothing and be searched. And it's the whole process is very humiliating.
Why are you still with the Coast Guard? Uh, are
I wasn't given an option. So I I was under the belief that I would be back with my family in Alaska. Um, but the Coast Guard has now put me on orders to transfer me away from my family to Virginia. So I really don't know because I'm not on a contract anymore. So as far as I understand, the only way they can keep me is on a legal hold, but I haven't been given notice of why I'm on active duty still or what the status is of anything. If they're planning on doing anything to me again, I don't know. So as of right now, I just have to follow orders and go to Virginia. I don't have a choice.
does your active duty is it set to expire or end at some point?
It expired a year and a half ago. So I haven't been on a contract for the last year and a half. And I haven't signed any new contracts. So I honestly don't really know why I'm on active duty other than the fact that they're transferring me and keeping me on active duty. I didn't have a choice.
Okay, well, will you keep us informed how you're doing, and I'll keep in touch with your attorney, and we'll see what happens from here. But good luck to you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate this very much.
Okay, thank you.